What's up, guys? I'm here with Panda Global's Wobbles. How you doing today, man?
Right now, pretty tired. Got up, played my pool, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Was surprised I didn't have to play winners finals today, but that was kind of nice. They handed me a bracelet and told me to go away. So, got some food, hung out with friends. It's been fun.
So things altogether have been smooth. Nothing you had to, crazy that you had to run into in what you had to play today.
I just kind of expect that I'm going to run into some random hidden boss every now and then. So, I guess crazy isn't crazy. Mostly the thing that I worry about at a tournament is like when something in the logistics gets messed up, like schedule randomly gets shoved over, delayed, something like that, because that actually throws you off way more than just competition being stiffer or easier than you expected. You expect things to go wild in game, but when you've got the schedule, when you think you know what's going on, you don't want random stuff to go wrong, lose your room key, stuff like that.
Right.
That's the part that I want to be smooth, and so far it has been.
Right. You wouldn't want another Apex 2015 or something like a huge venue change, right? Something like that. But last time we talked at Pound 2016, you were telling me about your balance as more of a commentator and also a player, and how stressful playing is for you. How has it been happening this year, especially for this tournament?
Well, this is my first major for this year. I haven't gone to anything else. I'm trying to just be more at home handling that stress and just like being less afraid of my competitive energy. Not worrying so much about whether it's going to make me angry, because then I start to think, oh, am I getting angry? Am I playing it? Start to spiral.
Right.
So rather just try and give it my all as fearlessly as possible and try my hardest. And it helps that for EVO you have to apply for commentary, and I forgot. So I have no choice. I just have to try hard.
Yeah, your other choice you can't even do right now, so you got to do...
I'll go all in on one thing.
Exactly. Now, everyone remembers that EVO 2013, your run. Does EVO hold a very special place in your heart? Does that add more pressure for you, or?
Yes and no. I think EVO is exciting to me just because it's very no BS. It's 2 out of 3 all the way up till finals. And a lot of high-level players want to be 3 out of 5 earlier, which does cater more towards the less upsettable players, But for me, EVO is so cool because it's just competition. It is a bracket from start to finish. It's one of the largest tournaments. We don't do big old pools. We don't do wacky anything. It's just play. Play until you win or you're out. And so emotionally, I like it. As a victory, like getting second, doing super well, having a big run, I try not to think about any one particular tournament as my tournament. I think that it's cool, but it also like adds a lot to it that isn't necessary. I just like showing up here and feeling the energy from all the different games. So it's special, but not for like my run, just because it's EVO. And EVO is very special and unique as an event.
Right. But this year it seems like, especially in the Smash community, EVO is perhaps not looked at in the in the same light it has been before. Do you think some of those criticisms or feelings are justified, or how do you feel about EVO? Do you think that in the eyes of the Smash community, maybe it's losing its luster, its prestige, if you will?
I think if people are aggravated, it's precisely because EVO hasn't lost its prestige. It's like for Meleeers who want to be on the main stage on Sunday, they're like, but us on the main stage at EVO, we got to be there. And then for me, I've tried to think of it more like, if I don't win every tournament, that's fine. I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to go to the next one. I think some people are worried that it means we're kind of getting kicked out, but as long as our scene keeps playing the game in huge numbers and keeps drawing people to watch, to enjoy it, then we will keep having a place at EVO. And if they ultimately decide, hey, we're going to focus on all these other games, these other ones will be on the main stage, we don't need to be on the main stage every year. I mean, we have like 1 billion majors all year long anyhow. It's awesome to be at EVO and have the main stage, but it's also important to remember there's a ton of other communities. There's a limited amount of time and space, and at the end of the day, we are sharing it. So I'm not as worried, but I can see why some people would fear getting kicked to the curb or something.
Right. And the one other thing that people have noticed a lot is that Melee's numbers have obviously gone down this year, and all their games too as well. But in general, if you look at all the other majors this year, we're not seeing that exponential growth that we saw the past few years. Do you think that this is just kind of like a calm before the storm, or do you think that we've kind of plateaued and we have to do more things to achieve the growth that we might want to see?
That's a lot. That's a big question.
I like asking you the big questions. I like seeing how you think.
Well, in this case, there was way more room to grow back then.
Right.
Plus, we also have a certain degree of tourney saturation. And when you have sponsored players who can fly everywhere, then they can go to all the majors. But we don't have 2,000 sponsored players.
Right.
We have a chunk of the top 100, and then some people outside of it with like local sponsorships and whatever.
Right.
So they can keep going to all the huge majors. There's like majors all across the world now. They can go to all of them. But other people for whom this isn't a job or like a second job, they really have to pick and choose which ones they go to. So if they go to one, then maybe they don't come to EVO. When EVO was, oh my God, this is the big one, then everyone knows exactly which big one to go to, and you get 2,500 people. When you have several thousand entrant tournaments over the summer alone in different parts of the country and world, it's no surprise that each one gets, on average, reduced numbers. But overall, like, each one is so big that total number of people still playing, competing, and entering is, I think it's still growing. I keep seeing people I've never heard of. People are like, this is my first tournament. And to keep growing, you keep streaming, you keep making it accessible. Like, Melee's getting more accessible because of net play, 20XX, memory card, stuff like that. So I still think it's growing. I think we just have a bit of a tourney saturation. We might need an off season so people can rest their hands, you know.
So basically, there's nothing to worry about. We shouldn't be panicking.
No, not yet.
Okay. Outside of that, there are a couple other issues that have been brought to light. One of them is named after yourself, obviously, but in general, I think that the better question to ask is, all this is, like, tons of things are coming all at once. Do you think this is something that is like we were bound to talk about this, or is it just a coincidence that they all came up at the same time?
Some of the other ones, like the tech stuff, they haven't been recurring questions in the scene. So it is kind of surprising that they all happened at once. Wobbling is a recurring question. Every time an ice climber player does better than people expect, wobbling gets brought up. Every time a local hero loses to a local wobbling terror, wobbling gets brought up. It's a bad penny. It keeps coming back. And it's because, especially as people want the game to be perceived more and more as esports, they're worried that the Twitch chat is going to fill up with resident sleeper, the stream views will drop, and people won't want to play. But to me, there's also a certain degree of like keeping the competitive philosophy of play to win and adapt and evolve alive. Like, get better. Are ICs winning? No, then get better. Right. But I want to get 7th at my local instead of 9th. I'm so sorry. You know, it's like, I mean, if it was really dominant, or if the Ice Climbers were a more pervasive character in terms of results, in terms of like general matchup success, and you saw them flooding the top constantly, and then they had this technique as the direct reason, but then they'd all hit a ceiling, so the character sucked, but it ruined the scene, then we could talk about it. Right now, it's like you get a couple people who play really well, you get some people who body them because they know the matchup, some people who get bodied because they refuse to learn, low-level players who will always have to deal with stupid gatekeeping BS, and it's just another one on the list. So in the case of wobbling, it's like, it's always going to come up, and I'm pretty sure it's always going to be the same answer. The other tech stuff is just random chance timing.
How do you feel about those other topics, particularly coaching and the Let's Grab limit?
Coaching's interesting. We could talk about that for a while. But my short answer is, when you look at other sports, just as an example, if a coach and a player are together, they're considered like an entity who are essentially registered together. And so when it comes to coaching and shaping the way we play and perform in sets, if we're going to have coaches, I want them to be part of the player entity, you know? So it's like, okay, it's 1v1, so-and-so, comma, coach, etc. But I don't like it when it's just really arbitrary and random, and you just don't know when you're going to have your coach or when the other guys are randomly going to get advice from his, buddy, best player. I would like for, if we're going to designate one of the skills of adaptation and analysis to be specialized and used by the coach so the player can focus more on just the mechanics of the game, then they're an entity. They are the competitor. They're one unit competing. I don't want it to be like random and sporadic, and sometimes you're focusing on analysis, sometimes your coach does it, who knows. I just want mostly to be consistent and for people to know what they're getting into ahead of time. And then, what was the other one?
Ledge grab limit.
No. Don't do it.
Don't? Just no?
No.
Any particular reason why?
It gets so out of hand where it's like, okay, what exact number is going to be? Is 48 better than 49? Is 50 more balanced? Should different characters have different ones? And again, it's like, there's all this stuff in the game that seems so broken, you know? And it might be boring and it might be stale, and it's up to you to beat that thing. Like the game system, if the game system isn't robust enough to handle its own strategies, then the system will just eventually die. That's how the game is. If we could patch it, okay, maybe. But ledge grab limit, try and beat it. Try and defeat the strat. There's all this other nonsense in the game. Fox has been up throw up airing people to death forever. We've been mastering smash DI. He tries to do it perfectly. He gets it, gets the second hit. Drill shine infinites. There was one Texas player who just drill shined infinited people for a year and a half, and then they all learned how to smash DI out of it. This thing that seemed impossible to beat, and suddenly smash DI. In the case of like the ledge, there's all the stuff you can do with shield DI to snap yourself off, grab the ledge hop, hit them, just go in, dodge, use little mix-ups, get them to burn in a jump in a dumb place. You got to study it. The first time it happens to you in tournament, if you get cheesed by it and you go, we need to ban that, it's like, dude, don't be a scrub. Right. Like, let it, if it wrecks us for a little while, and we've got all the greatest scientists of Smash like sitting there with their lab coats on trying to figure out how the heck they beat it, and they just can't beat it, then okay, maybe we'll talk about it. But again, it's if you don't actually put in the time and effort, you just see one match or one set where it works really well, but then people in chat are like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? There's all this stuff to try. And you've got to try it in the lab, and sometimes you got to try it in tournament, and if it doesn't work and you lose, well, you man up and you try again next time. So I hate when banning stuff is our go-to, you know? And I'm biased, obviously. Of course. But it's like, try and defeat it first. Don't just say get rid of it. Even if it is boring. Sometimes games are boring, but that adds contrast, and then it gives you like a story arc of the aggressive players coming back, and it makes people excited. It gets them invested. It has benefits that aren't immediately obvious. Don't just ban stuff because it's boring at first.
So essentially what you're saying is get good.
Yeah, all 6 letters.
Get good. Okay, all right. So you talked about, you know, your disdain for banning. One thing that, being that you're this ice climbers expert, do you think that ice climbers still have a chance if, per se, the community decides, yes, we need to ban wobbling? Do you think they're still viable, maybe even win a major?
Yeah. It would just be way, 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 way harder. But if you have the tools to get openings that don't just rely on you politely waiting for the other person to mess up, then it's possible for you to just keep playing better, play more patient, be more precise, outthink them, outguess them, don't choke, get your top 8, get your wins. Just got to play better. I mean, it is nice to have a huge punish game, but they also have all this other wacky stuff you can do to continue controlling the neutral, which in a lot of ways is more important than just getting the damage. Because if they're constantly at a disadvantage against you, you're more likely to get your next hit. So then if you're in control, you're kind of a higher tier character for a few seconds. So then you try and snowball that into a hit, snowball that into an edge guard. It's nice to have the insta-kill, but I think they're still a decent enough character. It would be a lot harder, though. It is really nice just killing someone off a grab, not gonna lie. I've had a lot of close sets that would have been sealed if I would have just wobbled, but there were also other mistakes I made I could have gotten rid of, so, yeah.
Okay. Now, if I recall, you're in grad school right now, correct?
More or less.
Okay. So my question to you is then, how are you kind of, balancing everything between playing, commentary, school? Is there like a percentage, like, 70, 30, 10, or how? That's more than 100, but you get what I mean.
Feels like more than 100 sometimes. Yes, right now for the semester, just 100% school. I didn't go to anything this past semester. I barely even went to locals because the local runs till 1 in the morning. I have 9 o'clock class, and it's neuroanatomy. I don't want to go there with no sleep. Right, so, right. And school's expensive. It costs more for me to like wipe out school than to go to a tourney and play bad. So I'd rather not add them both together. I'd certainly rather not sacrifice school now because it's also my second go around. Summer, I got time. I got energy. I'm taking a summer class right now, but it's like government for dummies, so, it's read the book on the plane, easy. Yeah, right now it's just enjoy the summer, probably go back to being a reclusive hermit during the winter semester, and then maybe take a trip over the winter break before the next semester boots up, and just be off and on like that.
Would you say this summer it's kind of like 50-50 between commentary and playing, or?
Yeah. I was just going to be like 90 commentary, 10 playing and goofing around, but I really want to try and get some of my competitive, energetic drive back, if only for the sake of my ego. I hate quitting, like really quitting. Sometimes I get super mad in the moment, but then it's like a magnet or a hook in my heart, and it keeps pulling me back. So I want to try and give it a bit more effort before I'm done for good.
So would you say that, given that you're going to grad school, is your ambition still to be, the best player in the world, ascend the Evo throne? So then what would you say is your goal right now?
Mostly just related to mood, focus, controlling my emotions, and enjoying it while I'm here and seeing friends. And it's less about like a driven goal for me right now, and just a general self-improvement plus have a good time kind of thing. Whereas with school, with the degree, and then ultimately whatever field that degree carries me into, that's going to be a lot more goal-oriented.
So this is going to be a very broad question, and I'm only asking because I'm curious as to what your brain would first come to. But how do you feel generally about the current meta right now and how it's elevated over the past year, so to speak?
It's a little more defensive and options selecty than I like. A lot more emphasis on not making choices and just doing the thing that covers you and keeps you safe, but there's no real cost to it. And a lot of people kind of forgetting the heart of the game, which is about getting in your opponent's head, figuring out their timing, using the game system to threaten them make the wrong guess, to make them panic, get them to jump, and keep seeing through them step by step. And there's more about like, oh, this is guaranteed, this isn't guaranteed, what's the answer, who wins this matchup? It's like, the game system is really robust. We have Falcon still doing well, Puff's still super good, Fox still super, all the characters are still super good. So even though the meta's changing, I think the heart of the game won't change. And I would like for more people to talk about the little subtleties that open up matchups rather than shut them down. So as far as the general community discussion goes, a little disappointed. People seem to be more looking for the answer to situations rather than how to play the game and the system. But I think the game's still doing fine. People are always going to try and come up with some cheese to eke out a win in a tourney, and then people come back with their own cheese, and it's a big cycle it's the wheel of cheese.
Wheel of cheese. I think that's a good way to end this interview, man. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give, words you want to say to your fans? How can your fans follow you?
Well, Twitter, PG_Wobbles. There's that. That's the best one, really. I tweet on there occasionally. Shout-outs to Panda Global because they fly me places and they're super homies. Shout-outs to my Arizona friends, to my Texas scene, family, people I beat in bracket who give me money. The usual. Okay. Oh, and content creators.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned to esportsheaven.com for more coverage of EVO 2017. We'll see you guys.